touched on this in the homeless guide, how to, but I'll go through this in more detail. The one specifically that helped me out the most. This is a rough outline, but I'm going to go through this and then some comedians for fun. But this is more education. Health and fitness, uh, coming up with workouts or daily routines for like biohacking. Andrew Huberman's your man. Again, he's a neuroscientist from Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. But long form podcast, super simple, black shirt, black background, and he just goes through a whole bunch of science. Only thing I've listened to Fraser Wilson on is 10-minute ab workouts, which are killer. This fella, Adrian Mays, kettlebells, if you want some like functional stuff or just building all your tendons. I think he would be the number one guy to go to. Daddy Noel, he's got a lot of jokes, makes some meals, goes a little bit into uh, philosophical kind of stuff about. I mean, he's just trying to be a good role model for young guys because I guess he didn't have one growing up, but very good influence. If you don't want to do kettlebells or abs, go to Chris Heria. He's like the go-to calisthenic wizard, at least the current times one. Nick Bear, if you want to be an absolute animal, he's a hybrid athlete, has his own company. He's a good one. Then for, you guys know I love Alex Hormozy, but Alex Hormozy has these small cookbooks, I think, are super simple and usually, besides his protein cereal hack, cheap. Will Tennyson, he does some stuff with cookbooks, but then also he's just a good fitness role model overall. Tries a whole bunch of stuff. If you want to go to like not as healthy food or not as cheap food, smoking and grilling with me, AB, is amazing. So try that out if you want to get fancy every once in a while, or if you can have a date night. Bulletproof Diet book. I thought that was a little extreme. Maybe, um, maybe to kind of make his own business, kind of like Robert Kiyosaki did. He made the board game first, and then to sell the board game, he wrote a book. So I wouldn't go super to a T with that, but I do agree with the overall, more fats, more protein, less carbs, and I don't know. I feel like it's taboo to say, but less vegetables and less fruits. I don't really eat those. I probably should eat more, but once you read something like that, then you don't know what's right and what's wrong. Finance and business. Dave Ramsey, everybody knows him. I refer to him a lot. It's kind of like the how to not mess up your finances, do the math. It's not going to be super sexy, but you're going to be a millionaire if you follow him. Graham Stephan is a modern day Dave Ramsey because he allows you to do like credit cards, but he's still extremely frugal. Robert Kiyosaki is the opposite of Dave Ramsey, who uses debt to his advantage. And I really learned from him to value time over money. Everybody knows his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He made like a super monopoly called The Rat Race, I think it was called. Um, Good book. I don't really follow him, or I did a dive into him, but I don't really base things off my life based off what he said. Biggest thing was just value your time over money. Alex Hormozy, literally everything. Great story about living cheap, long journey, purpose. I think it's overused, but not caring what other people think, and basically just working really hard. So, great role model. Uh, Gabe Bolt, he has a lot of like cheap hacks or just living cheap, but if you're driving in the car or whatever you're doing, could be a good listen. I didn't go deep into him, but thought it was a good role model for some. Patrick Bet David get more political nowadays. Basically coming up with Fox News #2. Super huge, super successful. I think no matter what your political views are, I think he's a great role model. In the beginning, he just did business and preached to a lot of young men. He's got a really good story. He's from Iran, lived in Germany for a couple of years, and no matter what you think of him, I think he's a spectacular guy. So can't say enough good about him. Diary of a CEO, he's got various perspectives. He's kind of like the business Joe Rogan that's more professional. But he has everybody on too. Asks a ton of fantastic questions. So no matter what you like, he probably interviewed the guy. Jumping to the bottom left, productivity. Ali Abdal, if I'm not mistaken, he was going to go be a doctor or he became one. But he came up with a bunch of like studying hacks and tricks and to increase productivity while going through school. And now he does that full time. And he's an absolute monster for productivity in YouTube. So very good for studying, especially going through school. Jeff Sue, I just watched one video on him about how to set up a MacBook and be more productive. Super good. I didn't go into anything more because I feel like I have all I need. But also, he was one of the reasons why whenever I get a new piece of technology, like the Meta glasses or a computer or a phone, that I look up videos about how to use it because you don't know what you don't know. And he's got a lot of really good tips. Miles Mokizuki. Probably butchered that. Apologize, but following that up, iPhone shortcuts. So if you see how I set my phone up with those they're called shortcuts. Oh yeah, of course, iPhone shortcuts. With the sleep, productivity, work, and whatever the other one is. Oh, finance. That's how I set my phone up. Once again, I just watched one video on him, one video on how to do phones, and very productive. I'd recommend doing that. And Ray Zhu, I owe this guy big time because I was looking for another planner and how to set up a planner, and I saw people do their own planner in a notebook. I thought that was kind time consuming, even though it did look very good. Be great to look back on, but my planner was things I need to get done, and I kind of just want to record things and experiences so I look back at it later, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But I'm using his template or setup or a variation of it to make my own. But you're going to see 90% similarity between what he said for how he sets his notebook up to mine. All right, now we go to mindset. Chris Williamson, kind of like the Diary of a CEO, a little bit more masculine, and I think he goes more into like philosophy and I don't know. I feel like he's just straight down for the boys, just a big dog. So great role model. He's got his stuff together. David Goggins, I don't think I need to say much about him. I like him a lot. If you feel tired or you don't want to work out, watch one of his videos or just him running, yelling at you. Good. Joe Rogan, again, I don't think I really need to say much about this. Has a whole bunch of different perspectives. Basically is like the alpha male of dudes, if that's not a cringy way of putting it. But I'm a huge fan of him. I listened to so many hours of him interviewing other people. Has a whole bunch of good questions and really good perspectives. I mean, you just got to think, how many hours and people have you talked to of various perspectives? Just, he's got a huge perspective. I say perspective a lot there. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. I read his book, and I've listened to thousands of hours of him. You'll hear a lot of the things that I say as a tangent off of his, or I'll just straight up quote him. But biggest thing I got from him was life is suffering, and try to make it meaningful by aiming at the highest good you can. Because, once you graduate from college, you're happy, but then a week later, then you start right back at zero because you don't have a job. So that's why I came up with the Little Black Notebook Future. Basically just making a whole bunch of money and then giving it away. Or that one's a life goal, not the future LBN. But good. A lot more religious than I thought it was. The 12 Rules for Life book. And now his stuff is like sermons, but it makes it in a very humanizing way that isn't just scripture coming at you and the stories. Even though he does go through those. He does it in a more subtle, humanized way that I can relate to. So, last but not least, the big troublemaker, um, the big dog who gets in trouble for saying a lot of things. My YouTube's probably going to be shut down just for posting it, even though I have no views. But yeah, I've listened to Andrew Tate's, you just got to look up Andrew Tate Motivational, and it's him speaking kind of what Jordan Peterson says, but simpler and more masculine, and yeah, just kind of like go do it. Like, why are you not? So whenever I listen to something of him, I always feel like I have more responsibility and more potential, and that I'm just not doing it. So, could say a little edgy jokes, or a lot edgy, him and Tristan, but Matrix attack, as Andrew Tate would say. Of course, once I talk to him, my computer wants to sleep, so that just stopped the last video. That's actually kind of funny. All right, let's not talk about education and mindset anymore. Let's talk about some funny stuff. So I wanted this to be in bullet points, but it didn't come out that way, and I'm just gonna roll with it. So you don't gotta read the much needed relief during difficult times. It's always fun. Everybody likes to laugh, giggle, and these guys will say out of pocket stuff that you think or want to hear, but you can't say yourself. So the King, Joey Diaz, listen to him if you like funny stuff, not office jokes, but he's got a ton of funny stories, and he says a whole bunch of wild stuff. So he's fantastic. Bill Burr, I think he's from Boston or something. I don't know. He's got one of them funny accents, but really funny too. More of like instead of like Robin stories and in the 80s, 90s and drugs and stuff, it's more just about current events. Cat Williams, another one of the comedy kings, like listen to the Pimp Chronics. I think that was his best one. Had some funny jokes about Michael Jackson, um, and then some stereotypes too. But a funny fella. Shane Gillis, another one for the boys, Notre Dame fan, and I'm sure you heard of Shane Gillis. Of course, I don't have a TV or any subscriptions, let alone time, but he made a show Tires, which I think is going to be really funny. But if you have short time and you go and taking a deuce, Shane and Gilly is another funny one. There's short skits. Tom Segura, I don't know if you call that dry humor or what, but sarcastic kind of humor. Super funny. Then the big dog, Dave Chappelle, probably the GOAT of comedy. Anything he touches is gold. Tony Hinchcliffe, what's that? I used to watch it more. He's got he's selling arenas out and everything. That's all like, I don't know, battle comedy and then just a bunch of stand up. You'll probably know who Tony Hinchcliffe is too, especially at a certain rally. Kevin Hart, I'm sure he's a fantastic guy. He seems more motivational and stuff, but I don't know. For comedy, I like his old stuff a lot. I thought he was the funniest guy ever until I found some of the people that I just mentioned. No diss to Kevin Hart. Bernie Mac had his TV show and his stand-up comedy. I mostly know him for his TV show, though I know he did like Def Comedy Jam. But Bernie Mac is considered one of the OGs. A little bit behind my time, but a good mention. And, all right. There's a couple like other ones that you just have to mention. Like Troy Bond, Eddie Griffin, Chris Rock, Big Ralphie, Fluffy, who's always just been a huge killer ticket seller, and a couple other ones. But Drewski, I don't even know what, he's not a stand-up comedian at all, but the videos he comes out with, the auditions, and now whatever, he had like Flavor of Love type of show. Insanely funny.